there's a lot of reasons. I mean, I did a lot of research on that as to why that is. And a lot of it is because calypso is a very insular art. It's an art that likes to stick to itself. The people who do it, they stick to themselves. They're very private. They're very insular. I was reading about that in relationship to reggae and why reggae has become so successful.
Right.
It was one of the theories is that at the time when the music industry was willing to embrace calypso and reggae and all these arts, the reggae musicians and producers were the ones who were like, yeah, take the music, play, record, make records, I'll sign the contract. You can do it. And the Calypsonians were like, nah, I ain't getting them my thing. You know what I mean? I ain't getting them my thing, so, I keep in my thing. So that was, apparently that was one of the reasons, man.
Yeah, which is... Yes, man. Yes. Welcome everybody. Welcome to another Wednesday. Welcome to International, where we shine light, have conversations with, and I like to say it now, and Mako the lives of Trinis, living abroad, working abroad, and interacting with territories and industries and fields and ideas outside of Trinidad and Tobago. And today we have a guest with us that are really, really excited to talk to. I'm grateful that he's given us the time, because you'll find out he is right now in the midst of preparing for an album launch coming out on Friday, and it's very exciting. I'm very excited. So we just Stephen a little bit of his time. He coming on to speak to us. He's a novelist, poet, musician, academic, vibes man, saga boy. The man, he's a real saga boy. Ladies and gentlemen, none other than Dr. Anthony Joseph. Welcome, Anthony.
Thank you, sir.
How are you going?
Valdez. I'm good, man.
Yeah. Good to see you. Good to have
you. That lovely intro.
Yeah, good to have you on. Yeah, I try to keep them spicy.
Yeah.
So things coming up, exciting things. Is definitely, from what I've heard so far, a step in a direction that I'm feeling a lot of comfort from you, and like you found a real good space to express. But we'll get into that a little later on when we start to talk about the music. But I want to start like how we usually start on the show, dealing with your connection to Trinidad, and the journey through your work, through your life here, through your experience here, that brought you to where you are now, and we'll branch off ideas and things from there. So, tell us about your connection, your upbringing in Trinidad.
Well, I mean, I was born in Trini, born and raised in Trini, grew up there. I left Trinidad when I was 21 or so. Right. So I had a relatively full life in Trinidad.
Full foundation.
Went to school, secondary school, lived with my grandparents. My family, what happened early on in my life, well, when I was born, soon after I was born, I started to live with my grandmother. My mom and dad, they had various issues.
Right.
Bacchanal, as we say. And I ended up going to live with my father's mom in Mount Lambert.
Okay.
And they are people originally from Santa Cruz, from Cora, Paniol, Paniol people. So I had that mix of that Paniol culture with the African culture, with, the whole mixture that is Trini. So I kind of grew up in Mount Lambert. Mount Lambert was quiet in those days. like a
Yeah, not
middle
too far
class
from here,
suburb.
actually. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I grew up listening to a range of music, a lot of calypso, a lot of soca, but a lot of reggae, a lot of rock as well, a lot of pop. That was my thing. I was growing up amongst a lot of friends in that area at the time were really getting into rock music. So I started listening to a lot of, this is in the 80s, started listening to a lot of rock music and sort of really getting into that, but also getting into calypso and soca and reggae. And yeah, that was it. I mean, that's the sort of thing. That's the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, listening to the music, you could get obviously the influence of the calypso and the reggae. I mean, your style is coined as literary dub, right? So
that's the first time I'm hearing that.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, in digging up, I saw that the style is coined literary dub.
Okay.
What do you refer to it as then?
I don't refer to it as anything. I mean, I do because I work across mediums, man. So I call myself a poet. First of all, I'm a poet. And poet is a big term. It's like an umbrella term, like music is an umbrella term.
Right.
But there's so many different strands to poetry and so many different strands to music. And I work across so many mediums that I just call myself a poet. The music that I make is Afro-Caribbean, jazz, funk, punk, whatever,
Yeah, all of that.
It's a mixture of stuff. It's just, it is what it is. I'd like to think that the music itself has always been original in the sense that there's no one else. It's hard to categorize exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Right. But what I'm saying is I agree with you because I try not to get, too hung up on genres, right? And your music crosses so many and incorporates so many that I guess after Spasm Band, when you really get into the music by I guess the second, third album, I stopped thinking about it. It's just good music that is close to me in terms of my understanding and my influences as well, which we would share, right? But I also wanted, as you said, rock, which is interesting because we had Sheldon Holder on a few episodes ago in March Music Month, right?
Okay.
And he's also a heavy fusion musician as well. And I think a serious core of that is being introduced to rock because he grew up in formative years in Canada. And in Canada. So a lot of rock was his foundation. So what are some of the bands or groups that made an effect on you then?
Well, like a lot of people, I grew up listening to the top 40 radio, Casey Kasem,
KC,
all that sort of pop, 80s pop. But then I had a friend in Mount Lambert, a guy he used to collect records and cassettes back in the day. And he had stuff like Iron Maiden, and a lot of Black Sabbath. He had things like Journey, REO Speedwagon. So I got into all of that. Yeah. And at that time in Trinity, there was this kind of underground rock scene. And there were parties you could go to and hear heavy metal and all kind of things. So I used to go to that, I was really into that. But what attracted me to that, I mean, besides the bands, there are bands that I loved. I loved Iron Maiden. I loved a lot of the heavier bands, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, stuff like that. What really attracted me to it and what kind of stayed with me to now is just the spirit of it, is more the spirit, the sort of the aggressive abandon of it, I find that really engaging. Yeah. So when I started doing music here in the UK in the early 90s, I wanted that feeling. I wanted that feeling of getting up on, like Iggy Pop, you get up on stage, you just blow, I wanted that energy.
Yeah.
And I still look for that energy in all the bands that I work with. Yeah,
I could see it. I could see the connection to that. Yeah.
There's something about that energy that is just youth and power, and a kind of it's abandon, it's freedom.
Yeah.
You don't really get that so much in other kinds of music. Even in jazz, I think jazz is a very cerebral thing.
Yeah.
Rock is very primal, and I love that primal energy. So yeah, I was attracted to it for that reason, I think.
Yeah, it's interesting because in talking to musicians from Trinidad, right, especially those who form their own bands, which is why I went into the rock, is either church or rock.
Mine was both, actually. Mine was
Yeah.
both. Yeah, mine was both.
The dread musicians, the real killers is they either start in church or rock, and then jump from one to the other, and then they get into their own space.
Well, that's interesting, because I mean the Baptist church. I mean, we could talk about that, but that had a huge influence.
Oh, right,
and as a poet, especially as a writer, especially, and a musician too.
I could see that. So, all right, so let me see. So up to 21, you said you left here at 21.
Yeah.
So what was going on big family or small family? Because I know two of your siblings.
Yeah. Oh, really? Two of them. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's kind of weird. My mom and dad had me and my brother, and then they split up.
Right.
My brother, you would. I think he's
Dennis.
one.
Yeah, shout out to Dennis.
Yeah.
I know that man since 97.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, boy.
Well, I've known him a lot longer.
Yeah, go way.
But
way back, yeah.
Well, they had him and me, and then they split up, and my dad went on to have loads more kids, probably about 9, 10 kids. Something.
Wow, right, okay.
That kind of guy. And my mom had like 5 of her own, 5 girls after that. So in that sense, it's a big family, and then I have aunts and uncles and blah, blah, blah. So in that sense, yeah. But, I actually grew up with just me and my grandmother and my grandfather.
Oh, nice.
My brother lived with my mom, and my dad was in and out, Yeah.
So so what was happening? Like did the music show itself in you before you left Trinidad, or was it just writing and poetry?
Well, I was writing. I've been writing since Form 1. Let's say since I started secondary school. I was writing poetry, and but growing up in Trinidad at that time, there was no understanding of being a poet. It wasn't a thing that I didn't understand what that was. A poet was someone like John Keats or William Shakespeare or Derek Walcott.
Right.
It wasn't me. I didn't see myself as a poet. I saw someone as just like to write, but I really was into it heavily. And then I started getting into music as a teenager, and I realized, there was a connection between poetry and music and lyrics. And I thought, right, one way of being a writer or being a poet is by being a musician.
Right, okay.
So I started pursuing that. So when I left Trini, it was to pursue a career in music primarily.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was to be another Jimi Hendrix or Prince or something. That was what I was interested in. But then coming here, of course, I started a band. Like the first few weeks I was here, got into starting bands, rock bands, and that was great. That was good fun for a few years. And I was writing all the lyrics, and I was singing, and it was good fun. It's good fun. Good fun. Then eventually, about 1993 or 2, I kind of had an epiphany. I realized that I was a poet, and it's a kind of interesting story how that happened. I was the main band that I had split up, and I was at home just hanging out, and I had this box that I had brought with me from Trinidad, and it was full of all my copybooks, all the exercise book that I had written poems in since I was 11 years old. And just going through that, at that point, I realized, damn, this is who you are. You're a poet, you're a writer. And because I was in the UK, I had an understanding of what that meant, because of the history of literature in this country. I was able to say, okay, so I can be a poet here.
Right.
And that was it. So music kind of went out the window at that point.
Oh, completely. That was it.
Yeah, I stopped making music in about 93. And then, I was just writing, put out a couple books. And then in about 96, music started coming back into my life in the sense that I was working on a novel, a science fiction novel, and I thought, you know what, it'd be really cool if I did a few readings with a djembe player.
Right.
You know, because I was listening to Last Poets and Gil Scott Heron people. I was like, let me try with a djembe player. And then that was great. And I said, I wonder what would happen if I had a sax player.
And then a bass man could fit in here. Right,
exactly. And before you know it, it was a band.
Again.
You know, yeah. And I was back into it.
All right. So because well, I'm the person doing all these interviews and editing, so I get to watch the interviews at least 3 times, right?
Right.
So I notice themes that appear and come up that people really don't notice now. So what I like to ask musicians about early band names. So when you, because they're always funny for some reason. So when you moved to the UK and you started, how many bands did you have or run through or participate in?
It was just one.
Just one? All right. What's the name of that band?
That band was called Zed.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Was it an acronym or you just call it? What did Zed mean?
I don't think it meant anything at the time. It was just we were just looking for a name, and that was what came up. Zedd. That was it's a weird thing, but yeah.
Everybody early band, everybody first band always had a funny name for some reason. Nikolai Labari was on as well, and he was talking about a similar transition from secondary school, writing poetry, being known for that, and it transitioning into theater and then music. So you started with the poetry, transition into writing. So that was prose, or was it you said a novel, right?
Yeah, well, no, I was writing poetry. I was a poet, and then I decided I was going to write a novel. So I started writing a novel sometime in the late 90s. That was my first novel. I just wanted to try another form. And I started doing that, and it became a novel called The African Origins of UFOs.
UFOs,
first novel.
So I think you did a reading of that here. In Drink, I remember.
Ooh, many years ago. Yeah.
That was the first time. That was the first time I was exposed to you, actually.
Okay.
That was. I'll talk to you about that later on in the interview as we get into the music. So so you're doing this writing. Did being in the UK, being in I guess at that time it would have been Europe. All of Europe is open, right? Did that facilitate the process easier, or that identity easier than it would have in Trinidad?
Or the identity of being an artist?
Being a poet, being a poet, being a writer, getting support to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But in fairness, when I was in Trinidad, because I didn't grow up in a sort of academic or literary family in any way, so I wasn't aware of what the options were. I thought that I didn't think there were any. I just thought I could just write on my own, and maybe at some point I'll make some music. I didn't think of it. It was a hobby,
Yeah.
But it was a serious hobby, and it was only in the UK, coming here and being exposed to all the sort of opportunities, like, education, and just looking at going to bookshops and seeing loads of books by poets and thinking, wow, there's a life here of being a writer. Being, literature has a different sense of esteem here,
Right.
There's a lot more opportunity, and there was a lot more. I mean, I didn't take opportunity of everything, but there was a lot of stuff that you could do, like courses. You could go and do like a creative writing course, or you could go to university and study creative writing. You could do all these things here. You could I could get access to any book, almost any book that I wanted to read.
Yeah.
I could find it, Whereas in Trinidad, I was relying on the library in San Juan, and it was a limited stock of poetry, and it was quite limited.
Yeah.
But suddenly I was here, I was in London, I was able to walk down the street and buy an album by, I don't know, Janis Joplin, and then read a book by Kimar Braithwaite, and blah, blah, blah. I was able to have access. And that's really important, because that when you're learning, you learn from people that have gone before, and I was able to learn from everyone. I was able to learn from the masters that way,
Right, yeah. And also, I guess the way the society interacts with people in your field is a lot more engaging, a lot more welcoming than Trinidad, I would say.
You have to tell me. I mean, I haven't lived in Trinidad for so long, so it'd be unfair for me to say, but
yeah. I think so. I think for since probably you, I guess into Freetown Collective, I haven't seen an artist or an act transition. Well, maybe transition successfully from poetry, from a base in poetry, spoken word, into a full band, into music, into being popular.
Right.
So I think Trinidad, I don't know why, because I am totally into your stuff. But Trinidad has, I don't know, there's a bit of a divide still in terms of how we engage with poetry to rhythm that is not necessarily rhapso or rhymey or or following a particular song structure that that they're comfortable with.
That's interesting still, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So all right, so you're there and you're writing and the novel is out. What was the response from your first set of writing?
Well, that novel that was actually my third book. It wasn't the first. I'd had two collections of poetry out before that.
Right.
But I've always occupied this sort of experimental Black avant-garde niche. So at the time when that book came out, it was seen as a very experimental, very odd, different kind of book. It was, Afro-Caribbean science fiction, at a time when Afrofuturism was just beginning to be understood as a genre. This was the early 2000s. So at that time, there was a lot going on in the US about, Afrofuturism. And an excerpt from the book got included in a book that Warner Books put out, actually, which was called Dark Matter. And it was the first anthology of Black science fiction, essentially. So it was early, and people just thought it was weird and strange, and they loved the rhythm and the language and the whole Trini thing and the science fiction. So I got a lot of good feedback for it at the time, but it has become, as now Afrofuturism has become a thing, it's become much bigger. It's become a more of a cult book. A lot of people are teaching it at university in the States, especially. A lot of people see it as part of this sort of Black Afrofuturism canon.
Yeah, a kind of pantheon, yeah.
Yeah. That book is being reissued this year, actually. It's 20 years since it was published, so it's coming out later, November.
Yeah. Congratulations, man. And that's why I asked, because Afrofuturism, right? The guest last week, Nyama Sapphire Sandy, right? She is a curator, artist. The woman is a dynamo. She's a powerhouse in the art world, Anthony. And one of her points of focus is Afrofuturism. So what is your definition of that as a genre, as an idea, as a concept from the time that you engaged it into what you see it as now, has it changed for you? Has it solidified anything, or is it a bit more removed?
I don't know. I think the difficulty with defining it is the difficulty with defining any genre, because where do you put the border? You know, what is Afrofuturism and what isn't? You know, for me, Afrofuturism is a way in which we could use the future or technology to correct and address the wrongs of the past. As you know, if we're dealing with Black science fiction, that's what we essentially. At least that's what I'm doing. You're using technology, or you're using some aspect of the future to address issues of race, issues of color, issues of belonging, issues of identity, issues of history.
Yeah.
You're looking at that as a tool to sort of replace or redefine yourself, you know. But also, I think equally, for me, it's a way of expanding the palette, expanding the tools that we have, you know, using more tools or using bigger tools, using a bigger landscape in which to plot your story, you know. It's also kind of, it's hard to explain, but, you know, in the Caribbean and in Latin America, we have a tradition of a lot of magical realism, you know. Carnival is a good example of the magical realism, the sense that you have a costume about a man that's 10 foot tall, you know, with horns or whatever.
Yeah.
It's real, but it's unreal at the same time.
Yeah.
And we have that whole history and culture in the Caribbean. Afrofuturism is just taking it another step and saying, okay, this man is a cyborg. Or this guy that's doing that is it's not just a fantasy. There's a scientific basis behind it. That's what it is. So it's using a lot of Caribbean and African culture and sensibility of magic, but applying and augmenting it with science. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Because when you say it like that, because when you look at Carnival, right, as you use it as an example. When you look at how deep, like a sailor mass or a Black Indian would go into the the actual background of that particular character and make that real, in that the Indians have their own language, their own way of speaking, their own system. The sailors have their ranks.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
serious thing.
Things like that. There's a whole documented history of this character is a real thing that is made up.
Yes.
Is real. And I'll take it back to what Nyama's definition was. It was very similar to yours. But a term she used was quantum healing.
Yeah, there you go.
You see what I'm talking?
There you go.
Quantum healing. So you're doing things now that would affect or have repercussions in the future that change things from the past, because because in her experience, in her understanding of, in her definition of Afrofuturism, time doesn't necessarily work, or it doesn't work the same way that that we think, you know, in a linear fashion. And she is of the opinion that you can change things in the past to have, you know, repercussions and echoes in the present through the future. And vice versa.
No, I agree with that. I agree with that fully, man. I agree with that. It's how you position yourself, isn't it? It's how you think of yourself, where you place yourself within this whole map of history, where you place yourself, how you place yourself. You know?
So so I like how these themes and you know, these thoughts that seem separate and distant and so on are really coming from a place that really resonates with people in a real way, right? So as you take that drink there, we could take a break. We could take a break there, Skip. But
Okay.
and we'll come back in our 30 seconds.
Okay, cool.
Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture.
Yes, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. We just having a chat, chopping it up with Anthony Joseph here, musician, poet, writer, academic, saga boy. You see the rings, them? never without the rings, right? So we talking about the transition. I didn't know that you left to do music. I thought you really left pursuing the writing career. Look at that. So music to writing, back to music that creep back in from the djembe from the djembe to the full band, which would have been Spasm or okay,
that's right.
So Spasm band now. This is the thing. How did you do the trans
on all these people at the time? So I was more, listening to Gil Scott Heron, Last Poets, rather than Bad Brains and Living Color.
Right, yeah.
And I started with the djembe, and then I got bass player, and then I got sax player. And what I was trying to do was actually to replicate the rhythms and the sound of the Baptist church. The spiritual Baptist church in Trini has been really influential to me. My grandparents were involved in it, so I was going there every week to the services all over the country, all over in Brazil Village and this place and that place, long services, people catching power, the full works, you know. And that was really important to me. At the time, I didn't like it. It was too much. It was overwhelming. But in hindsight, I could see how important it was.
And
I learned a lot.
Influence it had on you as well. Yeah.
I learned a lot about oratory, about speaking,
Breath control, just breath control alone,
Man, I learned a lot about rhythm. So the Baptists have rhythms that they go like... Adoption, So what I wanted to do was take those rhythms, and put it into a band, get the bass player to play like doom, doom, doo, doom, 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 doo, doom, doom, doo, 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 doom, doom. And then the sax player to be like somebody singing. So you have that earth with the djembe, you have the bass, the wood, and then you have the cry of the saxophone, which is like, it's like jazz. It's essentially jazz.
Yeah.
So I saw connections between that. So I was just trying to translate what I heard in the church to the band. So it was very basic and very raw. And I had given up on it being a commercial venture. I wasn't doing that band and that project for money or to get a record label or whatever. It was just as a way of accompanying me and my poetry readings. It wasn't a thing. But I put some music up on MySpace.
Wow.
Yeah, MySpace.
Boy.
It was a little demo we'd done, and a guy in France got in touch with me and said, "This is amazing. I really love this. I have a small label called Heavenly Sweetness. I want you to put something out." And it's just this incremental thing. It started off with, this guy, I want to put a single out. I was like, okay, let's do it, a 12-inch. Next thing you know, it became an album. Next thing, another album, and and here we are.
Yeah.
You know, that was the transition. That's what happened. It's when I wasn't actively looking for it.
Yeah, boy.
Sometimes that happens. You know what I mean? When you're not looking for it, that's when it comes.
Another team that comes up, being ready for the opportunities when they present themselves, being ready to, you know, to just say yes to opportunities and you know, taking it, letting it lead you instead of you deciding beforehand, okay, I want to do this, and in 3 months I want to get a meeting with a record label, and I want a contract and this and that, and I want to do so many shows. And forget that.
That's heavy. Yeah, that's interesting.
Do the thing, do your thing. Be forthright and be earnest in what you're doing, and then the opportunity will come.
That is true.
So Spasm Man was how many albums in?
The Spasm Band, I made about 3 albums with the Spasm Band. Yeah, we made about 3 albums. We made Birdhead Sun, Rubber Orchestras, a live album, and then for the 4th album, Michelle produced that. Michelle Endegocello.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, so I made 3 albums with them.
Nice. So all right. So here is the thing, right, Anthony? And I'll tell you this. When you did the reading in Drink, right? I didn't get it, boy. I didn't get it.
That's cool.
Right? And so here was the thing. While you were reading it, right? I start the individual pieces. When I start to like them, when I start to, you know, get the rhythm of what you're saying and the, you know, starting to see it, the picture starting to form.
Yeah.
That is when the poem ended.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, why this man? Why these things so short, boy?
Right.
Yeah, so it was kind of frustrating.
Wow, okay.
So I was like, I like the idea and the notions that you were introducing, the content in respect to the Afrofuturism and the stories and the link to Trinidad, and all of that was exciting. But by the time I started to flow with you, it stopped. So I was like, nah, boy, Anthony, boy, I don't understand. Cool. I don't understand. And then, I finally get to talk about Giles Peterson on the show. And then a time I was going for a run on Chancellor Hill. That was Saturday morning. So I'm listening to Giles going up the hill. And well, you know, he have a tendency to mispronounce things sometimes. Shout out to Giles Peterson. So he was talking about this song that he's so excited to play from this guy Anthony Joseph, called the Griot. The Griot. I was like, Griot?
Right.
What I struggling to go up there. I said, what the hell is a griot? And he talk about the background and say, Anthony Joseph. I don't know Anthony Joseph. Oh, I wonder if Anthony Joseph is this guy. This while he talking. I say, I wonder if Anthony Joseph is this guy who was in Drink a few years ago, boy. And then Anthony, I swear to you, at the exact same time that he played the song, I said, "Oh, the griot," and you and that's how you start the song, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, this is it."
Yeah.
This is what I was. This you give me the taste in the reading, and that was the appetizer. This is the thing here.
Right.
The how you put it to the music and stretch it out. And that's why I also like the name the Rubber Band Orchestras.
Rubber Orchestras,
So stretch out the thing and let the ideas, take shape
For real.
within the music. I really, really appreciated that transition. And
Yeah. That was the second album, yeah.
yeah. So and that was what? 2011, 12?
I don't even remember the years, man.
Yeah. So
Oh, that time,
yeah, shout out to Giles for making that making that connection, and like he always says, connecting the dots, right?
Yeah.
So all right, so I want to talk about as you're into the music now, you're into the bands, and you're pushing out this thing. I want to talk about the language.
Okay.
And the deliberate, because we do have to question your Trinidadian identity. Anybody could listen to 5 seconds of of your music.
Yeah.
That we do have to investigate that, right? That
Sure.
is, you're talking about Trinidad in the way that we talk, dialect, terms, everything.
Yeah.
How? I have 2 questions
Uh-huh.
attached to that. How does your audience digest it? And what is the reason behind not altering it in any way?
Well, let me start at the back, because the second question kind of answers the first.
Okay.
There is alteration. It's not pure Creole. It can be pure Trini Creole. It's not. Some of it is,
Yeah.
but generally you make sort of compromises. You make it simpler. You make it clearer. Some of the words, instead of saying crapo, I might say frog, just to make it easier for people,
Right.
So there are places that you do that deliberately so that more people would understand. There are certain words that are so specific to us
Yeah.
that only we understand. That's a fact. There's certain, kuya.
Yeah.
Very few people outside of Trinidad would understand what that means. And if it's important, and if they can't get it within the context, I have to make it clear. It's my job to sort of
Right.
make it accessible.
Yeah. So the words are your tools, right? So yeah.
Yeah. So I would make compromises. I would say things in a different way sometimes. So there are compromises. The trick is in making it sound natural and real, and not showing the compromises that you're making, which is what
you land that perfectly.
Yes, which is what Samuel Salvon did, in Lonely Londoners.
Lonely
If you read
Londoners,
that,
yeah.
it's straight Creole. It sounds Creole, but it's standard English.
Yeah.
It's written as standard English. So that's a process. So that's what I do. I don't, there are compromises made. And in fact, because I don't live in Trinidad anymore, and it would be folly for me to imagine that I'm fully up to date with Trinidadian language and dialect, because I'm not. Because language is a living thing.
Yep, very much.
You know what I mean? And unless you're in it and living with the people, you're going to lose touch with the language. And I've lost touch with a lot of the language from Trinidad. So the language that I have that is Trinidadian, some of it is quite old. Some of it is 80s. It's an older way of speaking. When I'm in Trinidad now, I realize that, a language has moved on a bit, It's an interesting thing. Right, so that's that. Now, the top part of it, how people access it, how they get into it, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just don't. Sometimes they will, if they take the book or the text or the album and they open it out and they read the lyrics, they can get it.
Yeah.
If they don't do that and you're in a live situation, a lot of times they're relying on the energy and the expressiveness. And sometimes I would frame things before the song. I would say, this is a song about my father. This is a song about my mom. This is what happens. And that helps. But, to be honest, I've been to concerts here to see bands play. And in the moment, even if they're speaking direct or singing direct English, you don't get everything.
Yeah.
You don't hear everything. So you have to rely on the nuance and the feeling and the energy. And the voice becomes another instrument,
Yeah.
If I really want to know what the singer is saying, I can Google it and get the lyrics, So a lot of people, might struggle with that at first, but there's ways around it. There's ways of them getting it or don't get it. It's not a problem if you don't get everything, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because we love music, right? You're a record. Well, we seen the records behind you. You're a record collector, and invariably you would love music that is not even in a language that you understand.
Absolutely.
And you love the music all the same. So that is a dynamic that we just had to appreciate. That is just part of the thing.
It is. But you know, with poets, I think poets are very sensitive about their language and their words, and I am as well. But since I started a lot of my touring in France back in the 90s, in the early 2000s, and there was, I was doing a lot of shows in France and realizing, these people are not going to get every single nuance. Everything I talk about, bacchanal and this one horn and this one, they're not going to get all of that.
Yeah.
They're not going to get it. And that's just how it is. You have to accept that and not be so precious that, I want you to understand everything.
Yeah.
You can't. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay if you don't get everything, It's okay. If you get a sense of it, that's fine.
Yeah, because as you mentioned, France, another echo of a conversation we had, that Calypso rose.
Oh yeah,
and being so popular in France, and it's the same dynamic. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't understand every word she says.
It's different.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
How
because Rose is a master communicator, and Rose has been doing this for so long that she knows how to translate whatever experience, whatever message she has. She can translate it to anyone, and that is a skill. That's not easy.
Yeah,
there's something about the language that she would use that people would get. They would get it because there's a simplicity to it and a naturalness to it. She's like Bruce Lee, when Bruce Lee was saying, be like water, or
be water, my friend. Yeah,
she's on that level. People like that.
Yeah, Corey, her basis, long time basis in France, Corey San. He would say she's a Jedi master at translating and communicating the feel of the songs.
Absolutely.
All right, so Spasm Band to was there an interim musical outfit between Spasm and now? Were there many changes?
There was a lot.
Because I remember you produced an album in Trinidad with some Trini musicians and artists collaborating. I think Key1 was in that.
Yeah.
John Squared, formerly John, Resistance. Yeah, actually, I was in my days as I was doing a song experiment, what people would refer to as DJing, but I was the house DJ at Cafe Blue, Kaiso Blues at the time, when they had your two shows. What was that? It is here somewhere. I did save it. Yeah, man, Caribbean Roots. You remember that show?
Yeah, I did one show.
That was the Saturday. It was two shows that Saturday. A matinee and a late show.
Oh, really? I forgot it was two. Okay.
Actually, I did two mixes for that, and that was some of the things I was listening to, trying to recall the times that I would have seen you live. Yeah, so Spasm go through the, I guess, the couple changes that your musical accompaniment went through.
Well, the most important one was Michel Ndegocello coming on board and producing an album.
I mean, that is as heavy as you could get.
Yeah. So up to that point, I was all about the band and having the Spasm Band, the band. And then she came and she offered to produce the album, but she wanted to use her musicians. She didn't want to use my band. And she used the different instrumentation. She used flute, percussion, keyboards, and my band, the Spasm Band, was just sax, bass, and drums, essentially.
Yeah.
A bit of guitar. So she changed the sound of that album. So when I had to go out on the road and tour that album, I had to get a flute player and a keyboard player and change the band.
Naturally,
so the Spasm Band broke up, and I kept a couple musicians who were in the Spasm Band. I kept the sax player and the bass player and the drummer. But then I had to get new musicians, so it became a new thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, because up to that point, we'd been basically producing ourselves. I'd produced, the first album. The second one was produced by Malcolm Cato. But it was a band thing. And then after Michelle, every album became another producer. And each producer has their own way of producing the record, and each one has their own instrumentation. So the band changed according to each album. So basically every album since then has been slightly shifted sonic.
The sonic signature.
Yeah. It's changed a little bit, which is great,
Yeah, definitely is something refreshing. And once I guess you are the constant, then you always have that foundation of that sound. But what was the catalyst to changing the producers? What guided the choices?
It was just in an effort to make something different. It was just to have a different sound for each album, to have a different vibration, a different feeling. I think Jason Yard produced maybe 2 albums. Then we got Dave to produce 2. Michelle produced 1. So that's already 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 5.
5.
Yeah. And then who else produced? The first one was just an in-house production. The second one was Malcolm Cato. The third one was a live album. Fourth was Michelle. So we've only had Michelle, Jason, and Malcolm and Dave. So there's 4. I've worked with 4 different producers.
All right.
And it's just the label just wanting to invest in getting producers that might have bigger names, or like in this instance, we worked with Dave because Dave has a quite a pop sensibility.
Listen.
He understood how to take what we were doing and make it radio friendly or whatever, So that sensibility definitely comes through when you all work together. I could talk to you for an hour alone about the music with Dave. The difference, I guess is much more open. Is the rhythmic composition is still there. You still get the rhythm. But I don't know. I guess my question about you working with Dave is how was the process? How different is the process in composing the music? Do the words come first now? Does the music come first and you try to fit it in? Or is it collaborative? It's all different ways. Every way that you'd mentioned. Yeah. Sometimes, with this particular album, I got to say, if you'd given me some notice, I would have sent you a link to a pre-listen to the album, man. That wouldn't have been an issue. So you could have heard it before the interview, but
No. I'll jump on Bandcamp tomorrow. I like to get things. I like to get the things live, man.
No problem.
Yeah.
So Dave would send me demos of just stuff that he'd done on his computer and said, "This is an idea that I'm working with. What do you think?" He sent me like 15 different demos, clips of demos, and I started listening to them and living with them for months and just writing stuff to them, taking poems I already had and applying it to that and changing things. It's an organic process. That's the difference with working with a producer like Dave. When I was doing it before with like Jason, we would just go into the studio and jam.
Right.
Record everything and then say, okay, this is nice.
Take this
is nice.
Right.
Nice. Thing. But with Dave, he's more precise. He's more calculated. He's like, here's a demo. This demo is this. What do you think? Let's work with that. And after I'd worked everything out with that, we went into the studio for 2 days with his band, and he just replayed all the demos live with the music, with his musicians, and I did the vocals, and that was it pretty much, you know. And I think I did another day of vocals, but that was it. It all came together pretty quickly.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I really appreciate his touch, boy. So what was he? When did you all first work together? Was it for his album or yours?
No, we actually met working together. We worked on a show that Shabaka did during COVID. We were in the same band. There was a festival, and we were broadcasting live from London. So Dave was in the band. I was there. Shabaka, Nubaya Garcia, a few other people.
Yeah, you're calling the real names there, boy.
Yeah. So we connected there, and then when he was doing his album, he got in touch, and I did a couple of tracks for his album, and then I reached out to him, and he produced. He did my thing.
That was Negritude, My Negritude, and Scenes.
You're good. You know your thing, sir. Jesus.
Yeah, boy. Scenes is a bad track, boy. Bad track.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's good.
Damn, what's going on here, Anthony? What's going on here?
Yeah, he's got his own sound.
Bro. Yeah, you find a real sweet spot there. All right, so we talk about the band. I know your time limited, so I'm just trying to cover as many things as we can squeeze.
I think we're all right.
All right,
time
cool. So where has, as you said, you did those shows. Where has the music taken you in terms of travel opportunities, exposure to places that made a mark on you, or places that you just didn't think you would have end up?
I think we played all over Europe, man. And every year we go all over Europe and play that. The UK, France, of course, a lot. The place, I guess, that we went to Japan to play a festival a few years ago, and that was the first time in Japan.
Right.
That's quite special. That's quite special, because you're talking about language and accessibility. That's a whole other level. Yeah, it's a whole other level. So that was really special. We played at a Fuji Rock Festival. That was great. I mean, beyond that, we did a tour. We did a tour Canada, which was quite interesting. We played Canada, but how we did it was we made 3 different trips to Canada in the same month. Which is bizarre. Yeah, so we went up, we played 2 shows, come back, go again for a few more shows, come back, go again for a few more shows, and come back. Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow, that's wild.
Pretty special, yeah. Yeah, it was nuts. But Canada was great. The US, done some stuff in the US.
Nice.
Mainly literature. I mean, literature has taken me pretty much all over the world,
Yeah.
Poetry as a separate thing, beyond the music,
Right.
So a lot of traveling.
Nice. Yeah, good. Anything in South America?
No, that's the only thing, man. There's questions about doing Brazil at some point.
Yeah, I could see it in Brazil.
Yeah,
for sure.
That might happen. That might happen in the future, but it hasn't happened yet. But what is for you is for you.
What is what do miss in pass here or something?
That's
like
right.
that. Yeah. So all right. So it would be remiss of me to not mention or talk about your academic career. So where did you study? How you got into the literary academia at this level? And what? Because you said you went to do music. So where did the road divert off into that while you were out there?
Yeah, man, what happened was sometime in the early 2000s, or sort of around 2004, I was invited to do a residency. I was invited to be poet in residence at Cal State in LA, Los Angeles. And the woman that invited me to do that is still a really good friend of mine, a woman called Laurie Shire. She's a professor of, avant-garde experimental Black poetics and stuff like that. So she was really into my second book. She thought it was amazing and blah, blah, blah. And she really loved it. And she loved what I was doing, experimental work.
Yeah.
But she invited me to Cal State, to LA for 6 weeks. And I did that. And at that time, I wasn't thinking of any career in academia, but she said to me, I was doing a little bit of teaching here and there.
Right.
And she said to me, you have a future in academia, and this is where you can make a living, financially, it'd be a good thing for you to do. Why don't you do an MA, come over to Cal State, do an MA here, and then, stay, do a PhD or whatever. And I was on that path. So she encouraged me to sort of pursue an academic career. Ultimately, I didn't go to Cal State to do my MA. I did my MA here. I did my MA at Goldsmiths. And then I got funding to stay on and do a PhD at Goldsmiths. And that's what I did. And, but I've been teaching since 2000. I've been lecturing since 2000.
Right.
Lecturing way before I got my PhD. I got my PhD, finished the PhD, I don't know, 2017, something like that. 2016, 17.
Right.
I was teaching because in those days you could teach creative writing if you were a practitioner and if you were a published writer.
Ah, okay.
And I was that. It's changed now. It's harder to do that now. But at the time I was able to do that. And once I got the PhD, I was able to teach in bigger institutions,
Nice, naturally,
yeah. So I did some stuff I worked at Liverpool University. I worked at Birkbeck here for 10 years. And then I started working at De Montfort in Leicester for a couple of years. I was senior lecturer there. And then I moved to King's, which is where I am now for the past 4 years. And it's great. It means that I have long holidays. And
in the summertime.
Yeah.
Conveniently.
Earn a living. It's hard work. It's not easy. But yeah, it's a good, I like teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So if I remember correctly, the PhD was that thesis dissertation was on Kitch.
Yeah. On Kitch. That's right. Yeah.
Well, Lord Kitchener.
That's right. Yes.
that turned into a novel in itself.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. What caused the idea to use that as subject matter for a thesis?
Well, Kitsch is ubiquitous in Trinidadian culture. I mean, everyone at some level grew up either listening or knowing about Kitchener. So Kitchener was a huge figure in my consciousness. Kitchener and Sparrow, especially those two. And I was in London when he died. And I remember being really moved by it. Just feeling like I'd lost a part of
something,
me.
Yeah.
I'd lost something significant because this was, something that I'd grown up with as earlier I could remember. Anyway, it's Kitch.
Yeah.
He was dead, and I was like, wow, that's profound. And I started looking around for just evidence of his life. I knew he lived in the UK for a few years. I was like, how do I find out about this man's life? And there was nothing. It was impossible to find anything beyond the odd article here and there. There was no book. There was no book I could go and pick up and read about Kitch. I could read about everybody else, Harry Belafonte and Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and all these dudes, but I couldn't find out about Kitch. And I decided that somebody had to write a book about Kitch. And that was me.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's about absence, man. I felt that, as a Caribbean person, lives just are lived and they disappear. They fall into a hole, unless we really, which is why you're doing this work now. It's important.
Exactly.
Work.
Yeah.
Documenting it. It's historical. It's important. Somebody has to do it, but so much of it is gone and lost that, I decided I wasn't going to let that happen, and I was going to do something with Kitch, and the same sort of impulse led to me doing something for my dad as well, just documenting a Caribbean life.
Yeah, so it was born out of necessity and
Yeah,
to fill a void or absence.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought he was too important, too significant, too special a figure, too amazing an artist to just, kitsch dead boy. Oh wow, he dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like, no, man. Come on.
I mean, we laughing, but you know how we laugh at painful things, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
That's something me and Corey spoke about here as well. We just laugh, but oh gosh, boy.
Yeah.
Lord Kitchener.
Resistance side.
That too, yeah. Lord Kitchener he was so revered in the UK.
Yeah.
Like I said, before we started recording, I was listening to the collection that was what Honest Johns did. The compilation of calypsos featuring Kitchener. London is the place for me. We don't have anything definitive collection that I know of that is being taught in schools, that is part of a curriculum somewhere. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
About Lord Kitchener.
I know.
And in your experience, it is the absence of that spurred this document to be created, and we thank you for that. Is there any inclination for it to be a series? You thought about that at all? Or
I have. Yeah, I have. There are two figures that I thought of doing. One of them, his life, I don't think I could take it on. It's too much. It's too big. That's Sparrow. Yeah. Although I spoke to him about it, and he said, "Boy, so many people have approached me in the past and said they want to do this, but they haven't come true." And I think it's because he's still around and he's still articulate, but it's such a huge life. You can't tell.
If you're going there, that will take over. That'll take over a lot of things. Yeah.
That will. Yeah. It's big, and to do it justice, you have to.
Yeah, that is 2 to 5 years maybe you're looking at.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm not sure. If I'm doing something about him, it will be more of a smaller section of his life, looking at the 1950s, let's say, or the 60s, but you can't do the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
It's similar to that Miles Davis documentary that they just couldn't encapsulate that whole life in one thing. You had to choose a era and and concentrate on that, and hopefully different parts will come together.
Yeah. I also approached Rudder David about doing something with him. He said he's got that in hand. He's doing something.
Nice. Oh, that's fantastic news.
Yeah. So, I said to him, look, if you need any help or whatever, let me know. But he's got it in hand. He said he's got some people helping him doing it, which is that's important. That we can't let that one go.
Boy. Listen, as somebody who has been fortunate enough, I could say this, boy. Yeah, I could say to be friends with David Rudder, right? Yeah. And to sit down and talk to this man and to get his stories, in just these stories, but in his style, right? Is amazing.
It is. Yeah,
everyone could be a movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's true.
The man, these Calypsonians lived a very, very colorful life, boy.
Yeah, even the jokes.
The jokes, yeah.
Full stories in themselves. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. To have lost Shadow.
Exactly.
And without documents like that. I mean, we have a good few interviews, but nothing as concentrated as we come into to capture the whole story and as many parts as we could of this man.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. There's a lot of reasons. I mean, I did a lot of research on that as to why that is, and a lot of it is because calypso is a very insular art. It's an art that likes to stick to itself. The people who do it, they stick to themselves. They're very private. They're very insular. I was reading about that in relationship to reggae and why reggae has become so successful.
Right.
It was one of the theories is that at the time when the music industry was willing to embrace calypso and reggae and all these arts, the reggae musicians and producers were the ones who were like, yeah, take the music, play, record, make records, I'll sign the contract. You can do it. And the Calypsonians were like, nah, I ain't getting them my thing. You know what I mean? I ain't getting them my thing, so, I keep it my thing. So that was, apparently that was one of the reasons, man.
Yeah, which is probably why they were Stephen Calypso in the earlys anyway.
Yeah, they wanted to keep their thing,
Yeah, it's talking about that the sentiment or the statement rather, which to my understanding is a fact that calypso was the first genre to be recorded and mass distributed and stuff like that. To go from that, I guess, beginning in terms of interfacing with the recording industry and pop music as it was at the time, to now is something of a major turnaround. And I guess that things like that would be reasons why that came to be the case.
Yeah. But
what do you think we could do to remedy that? Do we need to or should people
I don't know
just
if we need to, because I think what you find is that calypso is still a part of popular music. You just have to know where to look. You can still hear elements of it in pop music. You can hear elements of it in reggaeton. You can hear elements of it in dance music. A lot of dance music, contemporary dance music, has soca beats.
Yeah.
A lot of it does. They just use it. So it's there. The music is spread out into the world. People have taken bits of it that they want. But in terms of having a cohesive a body of work, it's hard, man. I can't I think I remember watching a video with Kitsch. He simplified it. I don't know if it's true, if we could agree with him, but he was saying the reason why calypso hasn't been as successful in the world is because of the rhythm, because of simply about the rhythm of it. It's hard for Westerners to dance to. There we go. That rhythm, that 2-2 beat, he just said that is difficult, that Westerners can't dance to it. I don't know if that's true.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that's a discussion for an entirely different kind of show.
Exactly.
But Kitsch was also a bassist, right? Playing jazz and all of that. So we have to assume there's some credence and substance to what he's saying. Maybe it was true at the time, but I don't think that is the case now.
No.
All right, so here what we're doing. I want to ask you one question about another hero that Agelasa never got to meet. We'll take a break and then we'll deal specifically with the upcoming album. Right?
Okay.
So the question about the hero is Tony Allen.
Oh yeah.
You knew Tony Allen.
Yeah.
What was your relationship with Tony?
We would meet on the road a lot, man. We'd meet on the road a lot, because we used to tour. He was with a French label as well, and when we would tour, he wanted us to work together and do something.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that coming out of you all knowing each other, and the subject matter and the delivery and the history.
Yeah. He's a mysterious guy, man. He was I'm still now listening to Tony play and trying to figure out how many arms does this guy have.
Oh yeah, because you said in the song, the drummer with like 7 arms,
Yeah. Yeah, his control of rhythm is like reminds me of like Max Roach. Max Roach had that approach as well.
Okay, yeah.
A lot of tom work that makes you forget which hand is doing what. You know. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I see what you're saying. Dum, 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 dum. Yeah,
Exactly.
he had them. Yeah, them tom rolls was a serious thing.
Yeah.
Real vocal too.
Yeah.
In my memory. Of course, to the people that don't know, I don't know why you don't know. But Tony Allen is one of the founders of Afrobeat with Fela and Nikolapu Ransom Kuti, right? So
You know, apparently fella played in Trini. You ever heard that story?
don't make joke. When
Yeah. Early 70s.
early seven, yeah, we had a lot of big names coming through in the 70s for sure. We could confirm that easy. Between Martino and Robin Foster.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would like to know.
Yeah,
I'd
we
like
could
to know. I'd
confirm
like
that
to know.
men like Imam Shah would know for
Yeah.
sure, because they would have been involved in either the promotion, the sound, or something about the show. So there's a little homework. We also,
Let me know.
we'll sort that
for
out
sure.
quick. I'm sure somebody have pictures of that home or some kind of thing. But boy, what a time to be alive.
Yeah.
To see Fela.
Hello in Trini. Yeah.
To see Fela in Trinidad, wow. Yeah. Because I grew up, hearing his music in the environment, not necessarily knowing who he was, what he stood for, anything, what he looked like.
Exactly.
I just know a couple songs, and then in early adulthood, late adolescence, discovering Fela through hip hop or just 'cause I was vacuuming music, boy, Anthony. Still kind of doing it, but a little less degree. And boom, end up with a Fela album, boy. I was like, wait. There's the man. He also passed away on my birthday.
Oh wow, okay.
So that came up at the same time, and I was like, I was on the Fela train for years, like hardcore Fela, everything.
Right.
So to know somebody who knew and had a relationship with Tony Allen, I'm real jealous, boy. I'm also, another team on the show, I'm also very jealous of people who met Shadow. Because I never did. I never even...
You never met him?
I never... Out of all the Calypsonians that I bounce up, talk to, they, like I said, I'm friends with David Rudder. I have never, ever spoken to the mighty Shadow.
Wow.
That's something I was like, it's true. I never even talked to the man, never hail him and he say, whatever. Nothing like that.
Right.
It's real strange. So things like that. I just want to, to just call his name and big him up. Man, like Tony Allen, boy, maestro. Yeah. So all right. So we'll take a little break and come back and we dealing with the arc. The arc is coming down. All right. So come back to you in a bit.
Okay, cool.
Skipper.
Need to raise funds for your next creative project, event, or invention? Or maybe you or a family member are raising funds for much-needed medical treatment. Now, you can get started raising that much-needed cash via Donate68.com, the newest 100% homegrown crowdfunding platform in Trinidad and Tobago. Donate68.com accepts donations from all major credit cards, but not only that, for those without a credit card, you can use your everyday Visa debit card to make donations. So log on today and create a campaign for your next passion project, startup, or cause. Share your campaign with your community of family, friends, and supporters to get the financial backing you need. Donate68.com, funding your culture.
Yes, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. We about to wrap. We're trying to wrap the discussion with Anthony, and it is imperative that we focus at this point on the upcoming album, The Ark. So, Anthony is still there with me, or what?
I am.
Nice. So tell us about the inception of this idea of the next album. At what point was there a separation from Rowing Upriver, which was the last album, to The Ark? At what point did you say, all right, I'm ready to get into this next phase? Well, or this next project rather.
Yeah. It's one project actually, because when I started working with Dave, I mean, we hired Dave to produce one album.
Yeah.
But Dave and I clicked and worked so well together that we ended up in the sessions for the album, we recorded 14 songs.
Yeah, I could feel
Pretty long
that
tracks.
connection.
Yeah. So we just vibed. And we got this huge project. Basically all the demos he sent to me, I was able to work with and put stuff too. So we ended up with this huge project. And I knew that I wanted to do, the remit I gave to him was, I want to do an Afrofuturist project. I want to do a project in which I'm looking at Afrofuturism, I'm looking at history, I'm looking at space, I'm looking at sonics, the sound of things. So he came to it with that understanding and crafted this whole series of demos, and we ended up with 14 songs. And we just thought, we could either approach this two ways. We could say, let's try to choose the best songs, and then, but that didn't work because all the songs were pretty good. So we were like, damn.
Yes, because you have 2 releases out so far, right?
Yeah,
James and was he first single?
Blue Suzanne.
Right.
Blue Suzanne was the second single.
Sounding good to me.
So we just decided to do a 2-album project, So basically, these are it's the same sessions. They were all recorded around the same time, but it's part of that big project that we were looking at, Yeah, and it's my 10th album. It's The Ark, because the title piece, there's a song on there called The Ark, which is a poem that I wrote for it's a piece that came out. It was actually first published in the second novel, Frequency of Magic, third novel, Frequency of Magic. There's a chapter in there called The Ark, and that's what this is based on. It's just imagining that there's, instead of Noah's Ark, that there's a spaceship that is carrying all these great, amazing Black icons, So people like the Roaring Lion are on there, Lord Kitchener is on there, Max Roach, a whole heap of people, Harry Belafonte, right, and Amiri Baraka, and all these people are on the Ark, It's a simple imagining of this Ark moving through history, carrying all these iconic Black figures.
That's a consistent image or concept in Afrofuturism, the mothership.
Exactly.
You hear George Clinton talking about the mothership.
Exactly.
And coming back or visiting according to how your time works.
Exactly.
To come get us. So the Ark is coming. In what format? Of course, digital streaming platforms. But talk about the vinyl for a second. Hey, man, have it, man.
Yeah, vinyl. Vinyl's in there.
Yeah,
it's got a double cover. So.
Proper things. Look. Oh, right. So, and who responsible for the artwork? Because the video for James, the set is similar, or is it from the The same photo shoot or what?
It's not the same photo shoot. No, it's a different photo shoot, but we used the same space. So yeah, this has got a kind of a tragic history, man. So in here, there's an bit of artwork here,
right?
That's done by Bunny Bread, and this is what he imagined the second album was going to look like. He wanted to do this whole spread where the spaceship,
the album cover, right?
But he passed away in July last year, so this was unfinished. So we got another guy called Raymond Wong to use some images that Bunny had took, some photographs, and create this cover, which is a beautiful cover.
It's a good tribute as well, yeah.
It is. That's a photo that Bunny took as well. So yeah.
Rest in peace. But yeah, that's why you had to do the work when you could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. He just, he sent me the sketch and he said, "This is what I want to do," because he was, I think, a lot of black folks, they're ill and they don't tell you. They don't say anything.
Yeah.
So he was clearly ill, and I was chasing him for the art and saying, "Man, I need the artwork." And he's like, yeah. I'm just, I'm a bit tied up or whatever. It's coming. Here's a sketch. Here's what I want to do. And the next couple of weeks, he was gone.
Shucks.
So I was like, damn, okay. Anyway.
So how many tracks? How many tracks was the? You said the session was the same as Rowing Up River. So we could expect the same kind of the same sonic composition and all of that, right?
Pretty much.
How many tracks you said?
There's 7. But I think the songs are a little bit longer in this one. There's there's one track in there which is like 13 minutes long. It's the whole side, and it's
nice. That's what we want.
Atmospheric.
Yeah. Looking forward to hearing that. So it's released on Friday.
It's released on Friday on all platforms: Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, everywhere people can hear it. If you want the finished product, you can go on Bandcamp. I have a Bandcamp, which I think is just Anthony Bandcamp. If you just Google Anthony Joseph Bandcamp, it'll come up. Nice. And you could get it. I imagine that Amazon and all that are going to get it at some point.
Yeah. Well, through your publishers, right? You have a listening of that on Bandcamp on Friday or Saturday?
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow?
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock UK time, which I guess is 1 o'clock Trini or 12 Trini.
Yeah, somewhere there. It should be 1.
1 o'clock, yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure and tune into that. Hosted or you're just
No, it is hosted. It is hosted. Yeah, it's hosted. Yeah. By the label. I think that, and I'm going to be on there answering questions or whatever. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. I suspect you have a lot more press and all of that stuff to do as well.
Yeah, there's a few things. Mainly now it's just also preparing for live shows, getting the band together. We have a gig in a couple of weeks in Belgium, and then we have Paris, and there's a few things coming up. Just trying to work towards that. But it's a slow music now, because what we do is it's not pop music. It's not that kind of vibe. It's very niche. So the way you approach it is a lot more longer sort of journey rather than the album's out, big hit, blah blah blah. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
it's like put the album out, you do something else incrementally. You build a tour, you release another single, you keep stuff going, building.
Yeah,
But
if it's one thing that is consistent with your output, is that the people who really into music, and more so the tastemakers and the leaders in terms of what is next, what is on the horizon, tend to be huge fans and supporters of your work. Like I said, Giles Peterson, since that you said that was the second album, has always played your stuff. I know DJ Galani also plays your stuff on Bandcamp.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah. Ali Galani.
Okay.
So you have supporters and people that look out for this stuff, man. So I expect to see it and hear it on my favorite shows.
Yeah.
Coming up in the next couple of weeks and beyond. Any thoughts you wanna leave the people with respect to the album coming out?
Oh gosh, not really. I mean, people just have to follow the Instagram, which is what's my Instagram again?
Anthony the Poet.
That's right, Anthony.Joseph_poet on Instagram. Just follow that for the news or whatever. There's another single coming out, which is the title track. The Ark is going to be out maybe in a couple of weeks, and that video is pretty cool. The guy I'm working with who did the videos is a bit of a genius, man. He's done 3 amazing videos for me. A guy called Chris Beshke. And he, so we did this video a couple of weeks ago, just shot in London for the Ark, and that's going to be out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And that's it, man. And then I've got to start work on the next one.
Right.
Yeah.
So the next one will be fresh. There's new ideas, new.
Yeah.
New
I have an idea
everything.
for that one already. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going to do with that.
All right. Good.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be too long in coming.
Hopefully not, man. I'm looking for it to be next year. Yeah. That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I must say that that single, that James.
Yeah, you like that.
Solid. Yo, there's a nice little loop in between there where you talk about the sweat on the walls.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I have been there, man. I've
Yeah.
you know that kind of club.
Yeah, I know that vibe.
Yeah, and as to quote Andre Tanka, in a basement party in New York City.
Exactly.
Yeah, that kind of vibe. When you say that, I saw the thing clear. I was like, shucks, yes, boy, that is the dance. That is the experience. I really appreciate that that way that you capture memories. And not just the storytelling and subject matter, but as a tenet of your style, the way that you capture and distill a memory and will just bring it back up in a line or two.
Yeah.
And you just see the whole picture. I think that's fantastic. That's a testament to your acumen as a writer. So
I would hope so. Yeah. I've been doing it long enough now.
Yeah.
Now, so yeah.
Any books or straight literary stuff coming out?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big year for me, man. I've got my 10th album, my 10th book coming out as well.
Good.
Yeah. So in July, I have my new collection out, which is called Haunting the Black Air. So that's coming out in Bloomsbury. That's basically the follow-up to Sonnets for Albert. That's the sort of it's the next new collection. Which is really exciting, getting some good reviews and feedback on it already. And then in November, there's a reissue of the first novel, African Origins of UFOs, is being republished. 20-year special anniversary. So yeah, the work just keeps coming, man.
Yeah.
And at the moment I'm working on a collection of essays, which I don't know when that's going to be out, maybe in a couple of years, but that's going to be the next project, I think.
Excellent. Yeah. So we always have things coming out from you.
I've been
for
prolific.
the foreseeable future.
I'm just lucky.
Nice.
I just work hard, man.
Yeah. And keep your head down and work at it, man. We appreciate it. Before we go, I want to do a little some rapid fire questions, right? Don't think too hard.
Shit.
Don't think too hard about it. Just
Oh God.
we go in stream of consciousness.
Let me try. Okay, go on.
Right? Poetry or music?
Whoa. They're the same thing to me, but I would say poetry.
Oh, okay. Studio or live on stage? Playing music.
Live on stage, man.
The energy, right? Tradition or experimentation?
Pooh. Experimentation.
Yeah? All right, experimentation.
Well, you can't experiment without a foundation, so.
Yeah, you must have some kind of, you must have borders, the rules, right?
Yeah.
Right, the rules of engagement at least.
Yeah.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay, fair. What is your favorite place in Trinidad?
Malik.
Yeah?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gosh, I have a partner living in Malik. Yeah.
Yeah.
First time I went up there to check him, I was like, yeah, it is.
It's different.
Yeah,
Down in
it
the
is
hills,
different.
right?
Once you drive up there and you level out, it's like
but I mean, my family come from the valley, so you go up the hill and then you go down inside of there, especially.
Oh, okay. Nah, it wasn't that far up. Yeah.
Nah. Malik, yeah.
Malik, okay, all right. And outside of Trinidad,
Favorite place outside of Trini? But I mean, I live in London. I like London, but another city that I really love is Paris. I love Paris.
yeah.
I love the vibe of Paris. Yeah.
And they treat you well. I suspect there as well.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, thank you again for joining us, for lending us the time. All the best in the endeavors, in the projects coming out. We look forward to everything coming out.
Well, boy, before you go, let me say thank you to you as well, please, for taking your time, being selfless, being very, I mean, to do this work is a selfless work, you know, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The reward is getting the things done, getting the things recorded. You know what I mean?
I know, but not everyone has that. I mean, to do that work, you have to put aside yourself a lot, you know, and just feel. Yeah, it's generous, and I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Hopefully we amass, you know, a real good collection of views, not just music and art and entertainment, but you know, we're trying to talk to as many people in different fields as we can, because
I can imagine there's a lot of people out there. Yeah.
The Trinis who just making their mark and, you know, being, like I like to say on the show, being real influencers, not just on social media and in commerce, but real change makers in the world, right? So, we just, you know, just trying to work around. Might have to use some quantum mechanics to get around the time zones and stuff. But we'll get it working, man. All the best. I look forward to listening to this album.
You keep in touch. Yeah, thank you, man.
Stay on for me. I want you to do one thing before we cut it, but for intents and purposes, there's the end of the show. We want to thank Anthony for joining us. Wish you all the best in your endeavors, success in your projects, in the vein of you know, poets, the music, man like Paul Keynes, man like storytellers, man like Muta Baruka. The tradition, the oral tradition, is being upheld and is very strong. With you, the force is strong in you, and we appreciate the work and the words, right? So,
thank you.
Thank you for joining us on International, man. We'll catch you on the next one when you're actually in Trinidad. Just stop in and we'll have a little lime, right?
It'd be nice.
Cool. We could spin some records and thing. We'll make sure. We'll make sure that that happens. Right, so just hold on a sec for me, and we'll we'll do that thing and Skip. Let me get the outro now. Yeah. Sure done.